for bourbon.
Oh, yeah. Let me go get the bottle.
Yeah, Mr. Producer was making a motion over there saying, where's
Yes.
the bottle?
Yeah, where's the bottle at?
Where's the bottle?
Memorial Weekend just passed.
It has.
Yeah.
Now, is that the official start of summer?
I don't know.
What marks the official day of summer, Mr. Producer? Do you know? You don't know.
Maybe the where's that MG or the GPT whatever?
Chat GPT. Where's Chat GPT when you need him?
Just ask Siri. Hey, Siri.
I thought it was Memorial Day.
What is
Like-
the first day of summer?
There we go.
This Monday, May 20, 2000.
I don't believe that's what I asked.
What was it?
It says Memorial Day. Hey, Siri.
I was thinking that. Summer solstice.
Summer solstice is on
I don't know. When is it?
That's what I said. June 21st.
Oh,
Bitches.
geez. So we have like almost a whole month before
Yeah.
summer starts?
It's still springtime.
No, that can't be right.
That
Yes,
can't
that is
be
correct.
right.
No, I don't think.
When did they change that?
It was last week. We changed it.
Congress voted on it.
First day of summer.
First day of summer is June 21st.
Yes.
I feel so dumb.
Hope you got your pencils ready and your calendars out. The first day of summer in North America is Wednesday, June 21st.
Wow.
The first day of spring is March 20th.
It also happens
So we
to
are
be
still in spring.
it
Correct.
also happens to be the longest day of the year.
So I was gonna like do grass seed, and it said early spring. You know, do it at early spring.
We're late spring. now.
Okay, I was gonna say,
That still
are we
qualifies.
middle spring? How many months?
Well,
of
we have a
spring?
month. We have 3 weeks left of spring.
So it's late spring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
because
the first day of
March,
spring?
March 20th is the first day.
So March to April to May to June. So 3 months.
Well, hell,
It's
you could
exactly
do it-
3 months. We're 2/3 into it.
You could do it the very last day before it. I mean, that's late spring.
Well,
What's that,
it
early
says
spring?
Early spring for putting down grass seed.
Oh.
I need some grass seed. I need some
Hey, you know what?
sod.
We put down grass seed, and it was in the middle of summer, and it worked great.
Really?
Yeah, there's nothing
So
wrong.
my front yard is an absolute disaster. I
Well-
have the St. Augustine, and I think I have 2 gigantic Chinese pistachios. And it's not getting enough sun.
Is that what you're calling your balls?
No.
Chinese pistachios.
I got these 2 large Chinese pistachios between my
So there are
legs.
2 other giant things that I'm not going to tell you the name because they're.
Are they green?
No.
Isn't pistachio green?
You're talking about my trees.
Uh,
Is that your nickname?
I was like, wow, you're getting very personal. Jeff.
Wow.
Very,
Well,
very
you know,
personal.
what is the grass that grows in the shade? Is that Bermuda?
Zoysia.
that's a fescue, right?
Yeah. Zoysia is
Well, it's
one
either
of
St.
them.
Augustine or
And yes,
There's
fescue.
there's Bermuda. I don't know. St. Augustine does well down here, but
St. Augustine is more shade tolerant than Bermuda is, but not enough. And my front yard looks like ass.
I need a bunch up front. I need some along my side because I don't get a lot of sun on my side yard.
So the Pennington dense shade grass seed is a fescue blend, a fescue blend. So that's what I was going to try, but I thought I already missed my window.
no. Where are you going to buy it from?
Just Home Depot.
Do they have that?
They do.
oh, hey,
Or
Jeff,
Lowe's. Or Lowe's, either one.
take your cup.
So I'm very disheartened by
Okay,
my front yard.
pride
We
cup.
used to have Bermuda. We tried St. Augustine. It looks like ass.
I think I'm gonna. I'm gonna have to do something up front because ever since I had my foundation made or fixed,
Yeah.
they had the extra dirt, and in my front yard I had not a divot, but a dent.
Oh,
Kind
and you
of.
had them fill in.
And they're
the-
like, "Hey, can you want us to fill it?" We're like, "Yeah, sure."
then
And
it ruined your grass.
it's been dirt ever since, and that was 5 years ago.
And
you
It's slowly starting, but
well,
it's
you're supposed to slowly add it.
no, it was a lot at once.
I know, but you're supposed to slowly add it. In fact, just like in your front, I believe, you probably just dump like a bag every month or something, every couple of weeks.
well, those are at Sandworks.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Well, this is dirt. Shit they dug up.
Yeah,
the-
from under your
front of
foundation.
the foundation. So it
All
was
right. Well, before we
dense.
get too far,
clay,
it's close. What is today? Today is May 30th,
May 30th.
and
Yes,
we
it
haven't
is.
had a podcast in 3 weeks.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we've been
For-
busy. I know it was my fault last week, but What were the other two? You were busy. Were you traveling?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, dudes like us,
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
Sean,
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.
and we got lots to talk about. We got deaths. We've got the debt ceiling. We've got the Memorial Weekend events that occurred.
We've got
shootings.
Paul's first brisket.
Yeah.
Paul's
We can
first
discuss
brisket.
We're bursting with information,
Yes.
Yeah.
aren't we? Bursting with information?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's get to it.
Oh,
What do you want to start with?
Let's start with the comeback of Paul's anti-sobriety.
Anti-sobriety. No, let's not.
All right, let's just pass that.
That's probably not a. That's not a very nice. No, it's not a very nice opening.
Well, let's
Yeah.
open.
You know, though we had fun,
It was
And-
a fun party.
and and you know what, the food, the brisket was a little dry, but it tasted fantastic, and not all of it was dry. Just the what is it called?
just
the flat.
2/3 of it.
The flat, yeah.
2/3 of it.
I think you need to work on your rub as well. I think you needed more of it.
More rub.
It takes a shit ton. That's a huge piece. That's
God,
15 pounds of meat.
I put a ton on, and I thought it's going to be so nasty salty that but it needed more. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I
good to
think.
know.
I think it needed more.
Okay. And I just needed to pull it off earlier. And we went through that. It was like I had 3 different thermometers. I couldn't really trust any of them because
Right.
they were all all over the place.
So does the rub actually, like a lot of times when you have salt in your meat and you cook it, if there is a lot of salt in it, it depletes the water. But then during when you take it out, what is that called? The resting period, the salt actually kind of brings it back in.
Your water is fat.
the crutch.
Is the fat that you render. That's why you take it up to 203-ish, because you need that fat to render into juice.
We're trying to figure out while it was resting if the towels that wrapped the meat that were wet from the juices
Yes.
was the
Also,
reason.
From it wasn't juices, it was just moisture from the
That was pretty wet
from the
though.
wrap.
It may not have been, but
Your-
it was.
but
Your-
it wasn't juice.
your
Like it
dog-
wasn't discolored.
your dog was like rubbing itself all over just
Yeah.
eating the towel.
yeah.
There was so much juice.
Hmm.
So anyway, and I don't use the butcher paper.
Yeah,
Much.
I made a game time decision on that one. I think I won't do that again.
So
I
when do
have-
you use butcher paper? Because they suggest using it.
You,
in some
you could do it
parts
both
of
ways, because there's 2 things at least that I've found. Maybe I haven't used butcher paper correctly. That because the butcher paper helps save your bark, right?
Yes.
But in my experience, it produces a slightly drier brisket.
Interesting. So it must be letting out more moisture than tinfoil would be,
Correct.
right?
Where if you tinfoil it,
Unless you wrap it correctly, maybe.
correct.
It's
Maybe
got to
I'm
be a
doing it
tight
wrong.
wrap.
I've only done it a couple times. I need to try it again because a lot of people swear by it. I just haven't had success
in
for
the
it.
brief research I did, I mean, the elites, like the competition guys.
Well, they want that nice bark,
Bark.
right? And I do the foil, and it traps all that. It's almost all that juice gets stuck in there, and it steams it, and it turns
and it
out-
works back into it. Yeah.
Yeah, so all that juice
I think,
is there.
and I will tell you this: it's way easier to wrap with tinfoil. Like when it's hot and you're trying to work quickly because you want to get it back on the grill and you don't want the grill to lose too much heat. I mean, granted, you're opening the lid, taking it out, shutting the lid really quick, right?
Right.
And then you're wrapping it as quick as possible and getting it back on there. But yeah, tinfoil is way
Did you lay
easier.
2 strips out?
Right.
Then
How,
you put it in
how
the
much
middle,
fat
then
did you
fold
take
it.
off?
Yep. And then like make a cross.
Did
Right.
you take off a lot of fat?
Did I?
Yeah, how much fat did you leave on there?
Quite a bit. I mean, it's all.
Well, he called me, FaceTimed me,
Yeah.
and you did take. I mean, there was one spot where you bottomed out,
Yeah. It said, "Don't create that crater."
Yeah.
And I had already done that.
right?
So, but that was not the
Did you
dry
glue
part.
it back?
But that was not the dry part.
yeah, no, it's
So- And I left all the fat on the dry part, on the flat, almost.
yeah, because about a 1/4 inch, and if
Yep. I
unless
left it
it's really,
exactly the way it was.
you could feel it because it'd be really hard.
Yeah.
It's like if you feel the hard fat, you can usually cut some of that off. But I don't know. Try next. You got to learn your grill. There's going to be hot spots.
Yep.
You need to find out where my hot spots are.
I think I just needed to pull it off earlier. That's all.
Did you have your? And there's 2 schools of thought. I don't know which one's right because everyone says something different. Fat down or fat up? How'd you do it?
I did fat down.
Yeah, I typically do fat down.
Yeah. But I did
Interesting.
read you could do it either way.
Yeah, because I've seen videos where they do that and they're like, it's the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no benefit to the others. So
Yeah.
I would think that the fat up would benefit it just because of gravity.
And it kind of melts down into the meat.
Just just thinking about it. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I always do fat down.
But I thought it was tasty.
It was good. It was a
And
success.
I would tell you every single time that I like do my leftover food, I always steam it, and I steam the next day. I steamed the brisket, and it was the flat part, and it was not dry.
Was it
at
moister?
all. It was definitely more moist when I steamed it.
Moist.
Moist.
More moist.
Moist.
We had a good showing. We had Scott. We had the Jeffs.
Yeah, we had a
three
lot of
Jeffs
people I haven't
there.
seen in a while. It was fun. It was good to see everybody. I thought the women had a great time. There was a good group of women outside, all doing their thing, and the guys were
I
inside.
thought it was funny that we were out of there before 10.
Everybody was. Yeah, we're all like old.
Yeah, that was something different. Because it's usually past midnight.
Oh yeah.
Or out there singing.
Well, I mean, look, Paul was ahead of us in
Yeah, he
the
was.
drinking part, but
not really. I think I started at the same time you did.
You turned that corner pretty
Well,
quick.
I know I did.
no. But what I mean
Because
is,
I think my liver wasn't used to it because I took that 30-day break.
no, I didn't drink. I drank very little.
Yeah, you said your stomach was hurting.
I just
Yeah.
had beer, and I had that one shot.
That's what I meant by
I
ahead
had
of
one
us.
shot. That burban you brought over,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
which I was not a fan of. By the way.
Cooperstown.
Yeah,
Cooperstown.
I don't think it was a fair assessment. I mean, I agree with you. I didn't like it either, but I still don't think it wasn't a fair assessment. I don't like drinking. I don't like sampling the bourbons in metal cups. I think it
they were
adds very
it was a plastic cup, I think.
well.
wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true too. But I didn't like. No, I drank mine out of the metal cup
Oh.
because I had my cup.
You had your
'cause-
tumbler.
Oh, be nice if we had a tumbler, wouldn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got his elite drinking
I guess I could have brought my
style.
my
Think,
rainbow cup.
speaking of
Did you
bourbons,
lose
what
your
are we-
Did you
what are
lose
we
your
dr-
rainbow tumbler as well?
No, the seal broke
Oh.
and it leaked, and
Yeah.
I had to toss it.
Wow. Well,
Yeah. So what's the bourbon we're drinking tonight, gentlemen?
I think this is a remake.
It is.
This is one of the first
It's a
ones that
rerun.
we got.
A rerun.
I think this is
But
one. If you remember,
let's back up. Tell them, so for those that don't know, the Dudes Like Us podcast, we sample bourbons, the first half and the second half, and we have a collection of bourbons, over 150, 60, 70, 80. We were up
About
at,
right.
yeah, somewhere around there. We have a lot of bourbon.
yeah,
And we go through it, and we were just buying a bourbon every single week. Each of us would buy a bourbon, or we'd put our money together and we buy a bourbon. And so we started building up the collection and sampling it. And the bourbon that sits out there just sits. We're like, well, we got to go down. So now we do a new bourbon and an old bourbon for the podcast. And for the podcast, the first half, we're going back and we're resampling these because our palates have evolved.
they've matured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we
Yeah.
go.
And then whatever is left in the bottle after we hit it a second or third time, we contribute to the infinity bottle,
That's
Yeah,
right.
which
which
we
is-
did tonight.
Which
Yeah.
is, if we keep doing this, that's going to be done soon. That infinity bottle.
Yeah.
We're about 2/3.
Yeah.
Maybe even 3/5.
Yeah,
So infinity bottle is just a big jug.
It's a big gallon.
it's a big gallon
Yeah,
glass
big
jug.
gallon
Glass
glass
container.
jug, and it looks amazing because it's got
Oh.
a whole bunch of different bourbons
But
mixed
it's
in
a
there.
dark color too.
I know.
It's got a nice,
It's got a
caramely-
wonderful hue.
Mm.
Man, there. I think I'm up to bottle number 27.
In that bottle. Wow.
27 bottles have been dumped into that infinity bottle.
That's good.
And we've been writing
27.
down exactly what
Yep.
they are and how many
Yeah.
ounces,
Well.
and because if we ever want to recreate the same thing again,
Oh, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
what? No, we have it written all down.
Yeah, well, some of it was kind of guessed, but we actually sampled a small microcosm of the infinity bottle halfway through.
Maybe we
Ish.
do that. We sample right at halftime before our next tour.
Hey,
I don't
whoa!
know.
Is it a?
Just a very small, not a
But
big
is it a
pour.
special event? I thought those are special events.
Well, it is a special event.
It's always a
We're
special
happy
event.
you're back.
Hey, it's
Yes.
always a special event.
Oh, and I like the shirt, Paul. That's the first time I've seen you wear it.
I
You're wearing a
know.
Foxtrot Juliet Bravo.
I am. I thought it was appropriate.
You wear it to Costco. I
Foxtrot,
get lots of
Juliet,
smiles
Bravo.
and thumbs up when I wear it to Costco.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny.
I do get people glaring at me though.
Yeah, they're gonna glare at you for anything.
How many? Is that like 1/3, 25%?
Most
or
of the people have a
5%?
positive response to it. The ones who understand it,
Right.
and then every now and then I'll get people glaring at me.
It's like when I wear my T-shirt that says "Make Texas a country again."
Oh yeah,
Oh, you get a bad response from that?
No. I got a lot of looks.
Oh.
A lot of looks and a lot of like smiles and thumbs ups and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't think I've ever gotten somebody being pissy unless they thought it was like "Make America Great Again." You know what I mean?
man.
Oh, whatever.
So I've got a couple relatives. Of my dad's side is from the East Coast, and there are a lot of Democrats. So of his siblings, he's got 4, and of the 4, 1 is Republican, 3 are Democrat, and they are so hardcore Democrat they deleted me from Facebook because they first of all they post just stupid shit, and I
So
just
they like your family, and
Yeah.
they
oh
erased you.
they beat up Trump and stuff, and
And
no,
you-
I kind of
And you're going to go spend time with him on an island here soon?
well, in July I am, and that's what I was driving at. Because you're talking about the
remote.
T-shirt, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy
You need to
no.
wear your
a bunch
take
of
that.
T-shirts, and
Just
every
to-
day I'll.
just to screw with them.
Oh,
I'll,
yes.
Well, one of the things I'm not going to do is I'm not going to talk about politics
Good.
while I'm there because
What's the point? I mean, why?
they're
What if
stuck-
they're talking amongst themselves?
I'll still avoid it.
No, you
It
won't.
did.
There's no way you
No,
would be able to.
my dad and I had a conversation. I will not talk about it.
Oh,
And
so
they're,
he-
and they're going to, because
so
they
he
know
asked
you.
specifically. Please,
No,
please don't
I talked
upset
to my
the
dad
apple
about
cart.
it. No, I'm the one that brought it up. I didn't want any part of it because it would totally be a deal breaker because they are so headstrong Democrat.
And what's the point?
Yeah,
What's the point of making everybody
they're
upset,
older,
ruin the weekend,
they're
and get
in
into
their-
fights?
They're in their mid 70s. They're in their mid 70s or early 80s. They're
been
never
drink-
changing.
They've been drinking the Kool-Aid for so long.
Yeah, they
Yes.
just they believe it. It's
They're
kind of
that-
like this is yellow, and you're clearly looking at a red rose. You know,
Right.
like it's not a yellow rose, it's red.
Yeah, I don't stand it.
You're racist.
You are.
Yeah, it's a beatdown.
Yeah,
man.
so T-shirts, do it passive aggressively.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Like Democrats like it in the the
Oh,
Go on, finish that thought.
what would the shirt say?
oh.
Hmm.
Well, that's a good one. The Fox
Real
Tractor
Democrats like
Bruno.
Yeah,
No.
I like that one. Too bad mine doesn't fit anymore. I'm too sausagey.
So
All right, so
All right, back to the bourbon.
Bullet bourbon 10-year,
Yes. Go ahead, Paul.
very respectable, straight bourbon, undisclosed source. Interesting. What the hell? What's up
Bullet
with that?
is
Distillery, undisclosed source.
No.
Probably because it's an MGP.
Bullet is MGP.
Ah,
All
right.
They have
Multi-grain products.
I have heard that they're starting to distill their stuff, but Bullet for the most is, as far as I know, still MGP.
So it tastes pretty good.
it's good. Yeah, and
I
it's
mean-
91 proof.
Yeah, it's got some spice on it.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It's got
It's
a harsh
A
finish.
little peppery. I mean, right at the front, as Paul had mentioned, the smell was a little ethanol-y, but after it goes away a little bit,
Yeah.
it's got a sweet caramel, vanilla notes are beautifully offset by toasted oak and spice.
Oh boy.
A noticeable deeper layer of citrus, cherry, butterscotch, and pepper adds a small but beneficial layer of depth. A healthy inhale of the aromas is even more satisfying as it brings out an extra layer of intensity. While it will be going too far to call the scents amazing, they definitely leave a positive impression and better than some of the bourbons at twice its price.
I kind of pick up a urine smell.
Oh.
Oh, like urine what?
Oh.
Sorry. You know, that reminds me, my dad sent me an email. So
It's like a dad joke.
I've been on that
Totally
23,
is.
23andMe. I've been on it for a while. My mom was on there, and my dad. I was like, Dad, you got to get in there. You got to get in there. Get your test done. So I want to see some of your other family members that show up on the thing. And so I sent him one. I bought it on Amazon Mail. He received it today, and he sends me an email. He says, "Hey, I got my DNA test." I was like, "Cool. Well, spit in it and send it back." He was like, "Spit in it? I peed in it. What the hell?" Of course, I just hope he's joking, but I'm assuming he was. I just thought it was funny.
Now the FBI is going to show up at his door in about a week.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we found you and your 15 illegitimate kids.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. The whole 23andMe thing. I guess
I'm not doing it.
I don't want to be on the radar like that. But I mean, I have nothing to
I don't think it
hide
matters.
from.
Well, 23andMe, I think, shares their information. There are certain ones that share information with the government. 23andMe is one of them, I believe.
Right. I mean, I do like how it's breaking cold cases. Right.
Yeah, Sean, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
I don't.
and it's some obscure
I don't
uncle.
think it
All that time in El
matters.
Paso?
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. I know that they say it's confidential when you send in your blood to regular labs and stuff like that. But if they can pull your DNA out of your saliva, listen, I have I mentioned that my dad has, or maybe I did. My dad has, he's one of 5 siblings. So his parents were married. He was born. His parents got a divorce, and his mom married somebody else, and she had 4 additional kids. Well, when I took the 23andMe, I mean, bam, instantly.
Of course, that's DNA.
It's just amazing.
It is amazing.
That, my dad's half sister just populated on the test. Boom, just like that. I was like, this is some real shit.
All your cousins should be on there as well.
Well, I mean,
If they've
people
done it.
that participated, yeah, for
Right.
sure. But now, I mean, now I've got cousins everywhere that I'm seeing. In fact, I mean, it's kind of crazy.
That's creepy.
All
I don't
over the
know
United
if
States.
creepy is the right word, but
And I got people reaching out to me. Hey, who was your grandmother on your mom's side?
oh
and
god, I would have no idea.
Well,
Grandmother, your mother's grandmother?
my grandmother
Oh,
on my mom's side.
oh, okay.
Yeah, just stuff like that, and even my great grandmother. I mean, they're back there. There's some indigenous blood up there. I mean, I don't have any of it.
I don't need to know any of that. I think the ancient stuff would be interesting, but the current stuff, I know my cousins and stuff like that. I don't need to know
But how
some
accurate
obtuse.
is the ancient DNA? Like for them to say you're related to Christopher Columbus.
I don't know.
How accurate is that?
Do they
don't-
have Christopher Columbus's DNA?
Right. Well, he was not part of the 23andMe program, was he?
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, how do they?
Well,
they
it's just
do
like
that stuff?
it's just like I saw. How the PBS has the "You're Related to" show,
Right.
and the black lady who's a big militant black
Yes.
lady found out she was a descendant of the Pilgrims.
Right.
the original-
somebody who came over on the Mayflower.
Yeah, came over on the Mayflower. So
Again, how
that's what I mean. How do they have that DNA?
they don't have that DNA. They died hundreds of years
Unless
before.
they dug a bunch of bodies up and scraped.
Well,
maybe.
unless they have the what is it called, the genealogy, unless they have that, and let you trace it back.
Well, it's by DNA though, right?
Well,
Oh, I see
up
what
to
you're
a
saying.
up to a certain
yeah,
point.
yeah, he's right.
Yeah, they trace it back up to a certain point where your DNA can
Oh, I see.
factually check it,
Right.
and then they just do database reverse research
you're
to
right.
find out your
Then they go
genealogy.
back to the
That's
records.
exactly how they do it.
Okay, that
No.
makes sense.
That's it. I thought it was interesting.
How far does yours go back?
It's my
the
great-great-grandfather.
So the 1800s?
Great grandfather, yeah.
Is that when they came over from Chechnya?
So that's why I want my dad to do it, because he's got his real grandfather owned a God bless it, a hardware store.
Plantation.
What do they call that? What do they call the hardware store back there?
Bam.
There's a specific name that they call it. It wasn't a hardware store. They called it something else.
Like a blacksmith?
No, a hardware store, like a Home Depot, but they called it something else. And so that was kind of interesting. So he got off the boat and he opened up a common, almost a mercantile.
Ace Hardware.
Mercantile. Is that what
Like
it's
a
called?
general
Yeah.
store?
Yeah, it's called a mercantile store.
Yeah. Dollar General.
And this was in Boston. So he opened up a mercantile store in Boston, and that's where it all started. And then my dad's dad became a plumber in the Hartford area of Connecticut, and then my dad came along. It's kind of interesting.
It is fascinating.
Is that mercantile still there?
I don't know. I kind of envisioned what it looked like. I don't know if that's just something I made up in my mind.
It's like a Lowe's?
I don't know. So I guess
Big
it was.
box?
No, it's just a mercantile store. That's what my dad
It
told
was
me.
probably back then dirt roads had
Oh, yeah.
hitches for the horses
Yeah.
or wagons.
And they had horseshoes and
Yeah.
stuff
I
like
think
that.
it's cool though.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
that
it's
is
super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, because
To go back.
I'd
there.
like to know that stuff. Again, I don't care about people reaching out to me today. I don't need that. I don't need that mess.
Well, maybe
But,
they need a closure on something. Maybe they don't know
that's
who their
on them.
mother or father
They need to
is.
research more.
Well, you're part of that cog, the missing information.
Yep.
Of course, they don't need my stuff.
you're the blocker.
No, I'm not saying.
You're the blocker from thousands of people getting closure.
I am. Thousands.
Thousands. You have
Yeah, but
thousands of cousins.
your son, you can do it, and then there's just an empty
Then
little
it's unblocked.
space.
Yeah, there'll be just like a black thing or
Yeah,
whatever.
and then he'll fill it in, Jeff.
It'll say top secret sealed.
Can you fill in names?
Yep.
Oh, all right.
Oh, really?
Yep. Mine. So when I did mine, I went. I basically filled in my family tree, and of what I knew, and they kind of revamped it, and with the spaces that were empty, they
And so they didn't try to fill it in based on public records or anything like that? Because if your dad didn't do it and you did, they know who your dad is. That's pretty easy
I
to
didn't
figure
do my
out.
dad's side. I did mostly my mom's side.
Because AI would be able to figure that out in a freaking
Yeah.
hurry.
Chat GPT.
Actually, that's probably true. In fact, I think that's huge. I don't know why they don't. I mean, that would be the perfect mechanism, or just to use AI to determine genealogy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
Researching public records.
oh
I mean,
gosh,
bam. I mean, it would totally figure all that out.
you know, you could
You should do it and see if you'd have to pay into reparations. Has my family ever owned slaves?
Well, we never did. I can say that for sure. Now, even on my mom's side, we didn't because they lived in Germany.
Very few people these days, their families did.
Yeah, so that
Yeah, I have
that seems
no
kind of
idea.
shitty. So back to that reparations thing. I don't want to be strumming that guitar too hard, but that is kind of shitty. Well, I mean, why should I have to pay for people?
Exactly.
That, I didn't do it, and they weren't affected. So why am I, the person that didn't do it, have to pay this?
Because you're white.
Yeah, well, am I though?
I think it's absurd.
Yes.
I
you're
think
as white
it's,
as I am.
I think it's absurd, and I think it's absurd that for us to be against it makes us targets.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Totally right. I mean, I'm like, really? Because I don't support that, I apparently am automatically probably labeled a racist. And I'm like, that's
Well, I saw
crap.
one of the squad just introduced. I think it was a $15 trillion bill
See, they think,
for reparations.
they think it's not
$15
I
trillion.
know. They think it's not real money. It is real money.
Where's that coming from?
They don't care because it's already 31 trillion. What's another 15?
Well, that's half of our current.
I know
debt.
that, but they don't think it's real money.
Is it Cory Bush who did that?
Probably.
One of them did. Anyway,
I mean, think
I'm
about
just
it.
Like,
From their perspective, capitalism is
That
evil.
was Talib, I believe, that did it.
I don't. They're all idiots.
I know. But they think capitalism is evil, right? Because capitalism rewards the few or the hardworking,
Well, yeah,
and screws the other people.
The hardworking. If you work, you get paid.
Right. So they, in other words, if they hate capitalism, then they don't think that the debt is real. They don't think money is real.
Well, AOC said we can just print more.
That's right. They
No.
think it's
She's not grounded on anything.
yeah, they just think
Did you
it's
see AOC?
at some point we're going to do away with it and everybody's going to make the same amount and money will be an irrelevant thing.
Did you see AOC in a town meeting
Oh,
where they were just
yelling her down.
throwing verbal?
That was about a year ago, wasn't it?
No, this was recent. Well,
was it a
yes,
new
it was
one?
a year ago, and then she had another one,
Oh.
and it occurred again. And this time she was the same thing, just snarky and just kind of like, hey,
I didn't
yay,
watch
yay,
it.
yay, yay. Well, I mean, I didn't watch it either, but they had the highlights of it.
Yeah.
She is totally disconnected from the base in her district.
But
And
she's
Is
only
she?
been there.
Is she? She's still getting 90+%.
Well, I think that's just sheer ignorance. But
I
I think people that were
incredible.
there really called her out, and they were just like, "Hey, look, man, this is what you voted on. Why are you voting on this? Because we
Right.
don't want that. Explain yourself." And she completely dismissed everything they said.
She couldn't explain herself. That's why.
She could not. No,
Big time.
I watched a video today of Ted Cruz, and it was during
was he naked?
It was Ted Cruz naked up there helicoptering on the Judicial
OnlyFans?
Committee.
You were on his OnlyFans?
It was under your account.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Damn it.
Jeez,
I should not have given you the password.
Yeah. Anyway, he was. It was a couple days ago, middle of May, I guess. And he was. It was during they were trying to confirm, I think, 3 or 4 federal judges that Biden nominated.
Right.
And he basically said they are wholly unqualified, stupid people. He didn't use the word stupid, but
We've seen some of those the testimonies.
and he's like, and I think they were all sitting there, and he was he was relentless, and he had examples and all this stuff. He goes, "You are terrible." And basically, what I want to get to is he was calling out his Democrat counterparts, going, "I can't believe not one Democrat will tell Joe Biden, yeah, you need to try again." He goes, "When Trump would notify, yeah, we passed a lot of really good judges, but if a bad one came around, we'd send them back. Not one time on one nomination has any Democrat ever
Nope.
done that."
because they're just not rational.
And that's basically what he was getting at. He was slamming the thing, but he was also slamming all the Democrats on that
Because
poll.
that's who's accountable.
They're rubber stamping it. He's like, they're not going to take your Democrat button if you say, hey, not this one.
Right.
but not one of you is going to vote for this person. And he laid it out on why they were terrible.
And you know what? That's why I've lost all faith in all politicians, because again, and I'll the same vision is during that stupid State of the Union address. They keep saying these broad themes that are good for everybody or not good for anybody.
Right.
Half the room standing, half the room sitting. There isn't one person standing on the other side or one person sitting on the other side. Not everybody could possibly have that level of groupthink. It's literally not possible.
No.
And they do.
They do.
So that means it's a lost cause.
Right.
So there you have it.
I think term limits would help that.
Huge.
Because you have these people that are in power. Mitch McConnell is one of them.
Yep. And they're thinking their careers.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to be here forever. I want to be here forever.
Yes.
This is my career.
And if I don't toe the line,
I can't upset anybody.
they'll pull the money. They won't help me win again.
That's right. And I'll get pulled off of committees.
Correct.
Where I have like important resume building stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's it right there.
So I think
term limits completely solves that problem.
Schumer, McConnell on the Republican side.
Yep, all of them.
All these guys that have been there forever.
They need to be there for 2 terms, get this shit done for the people that sent them there.
And leave.
And then leave, which is what it always was intended to be.
And then I think there needs to be an age limit. Feinstein.
Unbelievable.
I don't even know she knows what's going on anymore.
She
what
doesn't.
day of the week it is.
Yeah, she didn't understand why Kamala Harris was there.
But is she in these committees voting on stuff?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, they're probably, guiding her hand and pushing a button or something.
Her little skeletal finger.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, she's what, 90? Something?
It's ridiculous.
There comes a point where you go, okay. I mean,
in all fairness,
you can't do this.
She may be complacent. She has more faculties than our president.
It could be true.
I don't know.
She still can talk.
It's a tough fight on that.
They had a flat out. They were interviewing her, and she's having the full on conversation.
Was she? I haven't heard her talk.
She's lucid.
She looks very frail.
Ask her. She is. She looks frail. She is frail. But I mean, but when her brain is still there, she seems sharp as a tack. In fact, when they asked her, or they shared with her that she was retiring because she didn't know, and her staff had released that she was retiring, and because she
made her
she
look
was
so
planning
dumb.
on it. It did. So you saw part of that?
Yeah, it made her look like so stupid.
But the thing is,
and that was unfortunate.
During that interview, she was there. She was there in mind. I mean, she was able to answer questions, and she sounded like she knew what she was talking about. She may have been full of shit, but it doesn't matter. She had, it was a full round thought.
It can happen. I mean, I had a great aunt, maybe a great aunt. She lived to like 100.
Right.
And I'll be damned if she was.
Well, there's different, right? There's different.
She was on it up until like the
my
very
dad
end.
is the same age as Joe Biden. He's still smart,
right?
He could string along a conversation, right?
Yeah. So it isn't necessarily age, but it's behavior.
Well, that's why I think.
I mean, when you see Biden behave the way he does, like wandering around, not knowing what's going on, and losing his sentence, and not being able to follow a teleprompter,
right?
That's indication, and everybody's recognizing it.
And he walks like he's a corpse.
I know it. I can't. What do they call that? A gait?
His gait. He's got old man gait. There's something going on.
It's gait. GAIT.
Yes.
Gait. And what does that mean? It just means an old man shuffle.
It's how you walk. Yeah. It's your walk.
Oh, okay. Your gait can be strong and powerful, or your gait can be frail.
It could be John Travolta Silent Live.
It's just it's a manner.
That's a good
walking.
gait.
That's a great gait.
Yes, we all want the John Travolta gait.
And the Bee Gees video.
Oh, yeah.
I'm watching the 3 of them walk with their big collars and their hair flowing.
Super tight polyester pants.
Oh, beautiful.
There are certain social inner city folk that walk a certain way.
Urbanites?
Yeah, urbanites. Like
they have a certain gait.
Yeah, they have a certain gait.
Everybody has.
Cowboys have their bow.
There we go. They walk all, how you doing, lovely lady?
And assless chaps.
I think the spirit of
that's what you told me.
I think you watch Yellowstone too much.
Gait abnormalities are usually due to diseases or injuries to the legs, feet, brain, spinal cord.
They say that the gait that Biden has is to do with his brain.
Hold on. So gait is not. It's referring to something wrong with you.
No, the word gait, GAIT, just refers to the manner of walking, or style of walking.
Yeah, it can be good, bad.
But there's certain gaits that are created because of impairments.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Abnormal.
Like
case.
Biden.
like the way he walks.
Like Biden's shuffling around like he's going to fall over at any moment.
Correct. And then you get petrified because he starts to run. You're like, oh my God, he's going to break a hip. That sprinkler head's going to get him.
The president of the United States, the leader of the free world, and look at him. It's just so painful.
He's frail.
He's so
And he
frail.
announced his presidency 2 months ago. 0 press release press conferences
Oh yeah, well no, I mean,
And he won't.
or interviews or anything.
He
he won't do anything. He'll sit in his basement just like he did in the first.
Someone had I was watching, I think, the 5 today, a portion of it. Greg Gutfield mentioned something about how. No, maybe it was the other one, the guy in the middle. What's his name?
The guy in the middle of
With the hair.
I don't
The
watch
hair.
Five.
Yeah,
Jesse Waters?
Jesse Waters.
Jesse
So Jesse
Waters?
Waters was talking about he was making a comparison about it's like playing football. He made a comparison about quarterback. Joe Biden's like the quarterback. You're not allowed to go in there. All right, we're going to play a game. For the Republican side, it's do whatever you want, knee 'em, head to head, whatever you want. For the Democrat side, there's nothing. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that.
It's like Tom Brady.
It's a 2-hand touch. You're not allowed to do any of this or that. It's just like all these rules to set them up for
To
failure.
keep him from failing.
And then he sits there and unloads on the press. He says it's all on the press. The press is the number one problem of this. It's because they don't report anything new or real.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's quite shocking.
and it's back to, I want to say, George Soros and whoever owns these news organizations. What is it? Blackfoot?
Who?
Blackwater?
Blackwater? Well, it's all these parent companies.
BlackRock.
BlackRock, yeah.
BlackRock.
All these parent companies that own it.
Vanguard.
That in Berkshire and just these big companies that they own everything.
Yeah, they're
And it's just
really
like,
running the show, right?
They really are.
Yeah, it goes back to there. That's what's driving a lot of this Bud Light stuff. Bud Light's really, I don't think they're going to recover from
30% now. It's 30% now.
They
It
still
was
sell
25.
they're-
It's jumped to 30%
They're
down.
still
It's getting worse.
selling a shit ton.
Yeah, they're the number one seller.
Are they still?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they still are.
So they were.
After
so they're,
dropping
so they're
30%?
so they're
maybe.
selling 70% of what they were.
Yes.
Where does it come to where they're like, all right, we need to stop this brand and create something new?
The other brands are taking a hit too.
Mick Ultra,
Yep. Down
Uh,
6.8%.
Stella, and Corona.
The other ones are taking a hit.
There's a couple others in there.
I know.
Regular Budweiser.
And you know what's really interesting? That shocked me. So the amount that they're down is what the main competitors are up, right?
Yep.
Coors is up, Miller Lite is up, and they weren't anticipating this overnight demand, right? When I say overnight, like I'm talking about in like weeks. They were not anticipating this demand, and it could be causing a supply chain issue for them because, it takes a while to make beer.
Right.
And so they're scrambling to make as much beer as they can to have this lovely situation.
Well, it's a good problem.
It is a wonderful problem for
I
them,
think
but still.
the beer we're drinking, Yingling, I think they could really capitalize on this.
Oh,
if they went because they're not
huge.
nationwide yet. I think if they went
Huge.
nationwide and really because they're the oldest brewery in America.
Yes.
If they capitalized on that, they could grab a lot of market share, I think.
And all they have to do is have a commercial that says, they don't even have to dog Bud Light.
No.
They'll do it indirectly, but they can just say, we know who you are, we know who we are, and we're just going to make you enjoy a great beer.
Yeah, something simple.
Something very subtle.
From the
and-
oldest American beer in the
Yep.
whatever.
Yep. And we've known our customers from day one.
Correct.
That's it. That's all you got to say. And they would do very well.
Did you go to Harvard in marketing?
I did.
You should be VP of marketing.
And you know what I love about this whole situation is that now they're coining this as when other companies do something stupid, they said we need to Bud Light them.
Right.
Like when Target did their thing, they were like, and now Kohl's is celebrating onesies that have gay pride on them and stuff like that. And so the moms that were upset about it were like, we need to Bud Light them.
Right.
Now it's a verb, and
It's great.
and there's some people that are complaining, say you guys are a bunch of crybabies. Fuck them. That's what I got to say about it.
How many
Crybaby,
times have they
hold
tried to
on,
shut
hold on.
down Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby?
Well, Chick-fil-A's and now Chick-fil-A, glad you mentioned it, has jumped on
The bandwagon.
the bandwagon.
Of wokeness?
They are now in the DE and I scoring system.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that if they are traded publicly, I think they have to have some sort of score like that.
Oh, they
Well, who put that rule
That
in?
doesn't mean that they're woke.
I thought, from what I understood, the DE and I, whoever owns that company, I thought it was someone mentioned, or I saw on something, it was George Soros.
I don't think it's a company. It's diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a program that.
Each corporation has a DEI.
That's right. That's what,
Yeah.
It's just the phrase they coined for.
Department.
We
Yeah,
need to make
but
sure that we
There
are
is an entity
that scores
that
it.
there's an entity out there that comes up with the rules that for this the scoring system.
That's the human something. Yeah, there is out there.
Yes.
There is a one out there, but it's not the DEI score. It's their own score.
Yeah, well,
Right.
yeah,
And that's
it's a
what,
human rights. It's a HR something. It's a human rights. That one's owned by George Soros.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like, again, the whole thing is that you have a.
Oh no! What is that saying? Chick-fil-A CEO Dan Cathy says all whites should get on their knees and shine black people's shoes with a sense of shame, a sense of embarrassment. Is that real?
Yeah, it is real. It is.
Shared with me by a dear friend who shared with me about a revival that was taking place at a church in Texas. And at that revival, on the front seat was an older African American man that was sitting there. And this young man got up that was there in that service, and he'd been so gripped with conviction about the racism that was in that local community in a small town in Texas that he took a shoe brush. And he walked over to this elderly gentleman, and he knelt on his knees and began to shine his shoes. And tears began to flow in that service. It was an attitude of conviction. So I invite folks to put some words to action here. And if we need to find somebody
The
that
optics
needs
of
to
this
have their
are not
shoe
good.
shine,
I
we need
understand what
just
he's
go
trying
right
to
on
do.
over and shine their shoes.
The black guy that's sitting there, he's
And,
got to be
whether they got
losing his
tennis
mind right
shoes
now.
on
He's
or
probably
not,
thinking,
maybe they
"Get
got
the
sandals
fuck
on.
away from my
It
shoes."
really doesn't matter. But there's a time in which we need to have, some personal action here. Maybe we need to give them a hug too.
I understand what they're doing.
And some stock in Chick-fil-A.
But,
It's embarrassing.
I
The
bought
optics-
about
the
1,500
optics,
of these,
missed
and
the
I
mark,
gave to all our Chick-fil-A
in my
operators
opinion.
and staff a number of years ago. And
It's
So
going
you
to
can
hurt
turn
them.
this
any
off.
expressions.
Yeah, it's going to hurt them.
And
So
this happened after the George Floyd thing as well. There was a very highly publicized thing where people were washing the feet
Right.
of. You remember that?
Right.
And I think it misses the mark. I know what they're referencing. They're referencing when Jesus washed the feet of his apostles at the Last Supper, right? Because he was trying to tell them, he was trying to teach them that to be what God wants you to be, you need to serve others, right? But that is not as culturally back then, culturally different than doing that now. That's weird now.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to serve somebody now, that looks different now than what Jesus was doing to show his apostles, because that was a regular thing. You had servants, and servants washed your feet before you went to bed or whatever.
Right.
Now it's weird. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree.
So
That's-
I understand what he's saying, and I get it. You want to serve others, but they need to make it relevant to how you serve someone, because we should do that, right? We should be in servitude to others, and try to make everybody better around us, right?
Well, he should have
And
done.
don't think
He
of
should have done
yourself.
it to both of them then,
Right. Oh, absolutely.
not
Absolutely.
just the black guy.
Yeah. No, they've done that multiple times, and I don't agree with it. Simply because it doesn't get the reaction
Well,
that
it gets a
that-
bad reaction.
That's right. That's right. It's the opposite reaction. You're not
Right.
you're not demonstrating how to honestly serve others. You're demonstrating something that's just people don't understand, and it's weird.
Right.
So I don't like it.
well, let's. I got to tell you, I'm I'm extremely disappointed. I mean, what do? Do you fire them? Do you release them from their contract? The Dallas Stars goalie. I mean,
I didn't watch the last goal.
0.
6, yeah, it was rough.
6-0.
But I will tell you,
on the fifth game.
So I stopped
sixth
watching
game.
when it was 4-0. But I will say the first 3 goals I saw, I can't remember what the fourth one was, honestly. But it's shitty defense, man.
Was it?
Yes. It was shitty defense. If you're going to put your goalie in that position and not skate hard down the ice and let people in front of you and not guard the guy that's out in front of the crease, I mean, fuck that. That's not on the goalie. That was shitty,
I remember
non-hustle defense.
when the Dallas Stars first came to Dallas, Texas. You know, they had I don't remember all the Geek Carbonell, Mike Madonna,
Oh, yeah.
Hatcher brothers.
That's when they
You
won.
know, I swear, when there was a guy in the penalty box and they were shorthanded, they were almost fell. They were almost better shorthanded.
Right.
They would all. I mean, it was amazing.
They turned up a notch. Is what
They
did.
would turn it up a notch, and they would steal, and they would score. I mean, I'm telling you, probably would break. I think they broke records of scoring shorthanded goals. You know, they've got none of that now. There's no sense of urgency. They just flat out suck. I mean, they were just dropping shit, and
They were
passes were pathetic.
I didn't
they were
watch it.
mishandling. They were mishandling the puck.
They're one
so
time
badly.
Yeah, it was every time
Well, what
they one
happened?
time it,
They
they shoot it
struggled.
off in the fucking stands.
Well, I wonder what happened because I watched the last period, the previous game.
I tell you what, they made a
And they
fight
look
of
good.
it. Yes, they made a fight of it in the series. They were down 3-0. They battled back to force a 6th game. That's honorable at least. But man, the effort that they put into Game 6 was not there.
I wonder what happened.
They might be tired, but at them they were home.
Well, the other team's just as tired.
I know, and they were home. So they should have been feeding off the crowd. But man, same thing happened where the Knights scored like right away.
Right.
And then that took the air out of the stadium, and everybody was like shocked. And then boom, a second one, all right. And then it was 2-0, and then
And 3-0, you're just like shit.
But I will tell you this: I saw a play I had never seen before. So somebody, the Knights shot it on the goal, and the puck was flipping in the air, right? Flipping in the air above the goal, but the trajectory was it was going to drop right into the goal. And the defenseman turns around and whacks it out of midair, and like out, over the ice, and it was a penalty, right? So it got a power play when they ultimately scored on the power play. But if
Right.
you watch that, it was the hand-eye coordination in the moment was astounding.
Right.
It was incredible. I've never seen anything like that before. He just turns around and whacks it out of the air before it went into the goal. It was incredible. Anyway, yeah, I feel bad that it ended that way. My son was not happy.
So I asked Randy this question the other night. I was like, as far as all the sports, football, hockey, basketball, soccer, I'm not going to count baseball. Which one do you think are the best in shape athletes?
We've talked about this before. I'm actually going to go with soccer.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm going with soccer because they don't sub.
Right, and that's what when I was talking to Randy, he's like, because I was watching the game, and I was like, God, they're up and down, up and down, up. And he goes, yeah, but they sub like every 90 seconds.
That's 25 seconds.
Yeah, so
They have
they're
very short shifts.
Yeah, and I'm not a big enough hockey person. I didn't know that. So I was like, oh, and I played soccer, and I know what it takes. I mean, not at a pro level or anything, but you're running. He's like, on average, you're getting 7 to 8 miles a game.
Constant.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I briefly played co-ed
Right.
with some of my coworkers, and it's the only team sport I've ever been in where I'm on the field, and you know how you never really want to come off, right? I mean, you want to play, you're so excited. I'm looking to the bench because sucking wind,
Right.
and I was playing basketball 4 times a week, so
Right.
I really was in the tip-top shape, and they're all looking away. They're all like,
You're like, I don't want to be in yet.
absolutely. They're looking away and like acting like they're talking to people, and I'm like, dude, I'm dying here. I need a sub.
Right.
And nobody wanted to come in,
Right.
and it's because we were all dying.
Right.
So absolutely, I would agree, soccer, because when they make a sub, you can't come back in. You're done for the game,
Right. So,
which is weird to me.
okay, so we all kind of unanimously agree on soccer as being the most in shape.
Yeah.
But it's number 2. hockey or basketball. I don't think it's football. Football
I think
is a
it's
different type of shape.
I think it's hockey.
Instead of basketball.
Yeah. I
Even
would
though
agree
they're
with
running
that.
up and down.
Yeah, but when you're doing half court basketball, I mean, which is a lot of it. I mean, a transition basketball happens a lot, right? When you're running up and down the court. But most of the time, teams are slowing it down and they're playing half court basketball, which means
maybe field hockey.
we didn't throw field hockey in.
Yeah,
there.
I'm thinking.
what-
I'm thinking the main.
Oh, well,
I would say soccer, then ice hockey, then basketball, then football.
And then baseball because they just stand there.
They just kind of stand.
That's why I was like, I'm not going to count baseball. They're athletes, but as far as cardio and in shape, I think it's different between some of the other ones that
You know, and
a
what's
lot of running.
What's interesting about football is the wide receivers, right? I mean, they're running long routes and they don't even get targeted, right? And then they got to run all the way
Right.
back to the line of scrimmage, and then they
Yeah.
run a long route and they come back.
Right.
But they get subbed out quite a bit. And the linemen are basically getting into car wrecks
I think
every play.
I think
Yeah.
as far as I
I mean,
think it's,
seriously, they're like 5 mile an hour car wrecks is what their bodies
It
go
is.
through when they
Well,
smash into each other.
well, I think the top athletes are going to be your offensive line and your running backs
yeah.
because they're involved.
Offensive line or defensive line? Or both?
Well, probably both.
The line
Well,
in general.
Probably the offensive line because they'll sub a lot of defensive line sometimes.
Yeah.
Offensive line, you don't sub. You play
Right.
the entire game unless you get injured,
Right.
right? So the offensive line's out there for the entire game,
Unbelievable.
and you're having these impacts. They may look,
Yes.
I mean, they're huge dudes. They may not look like they're in shape, but they're out there the entire game trying to shove around 300-pound dudes.
And they can run faster than we can in our greatest sprint of our life.
Correct.
And
That's
they're
scary.
320 pounds.
6'5" plus.
what about a
it's truly amazing.
triathlon?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, when you're talking that kind of stuff like Iron Man, where they
Oh,
bike
yeah.
and they swim and they.
All right, so we have the
But we're talking about team sports, right?
we have an official we have an official list here. The top
Okay.
10 most physically challenging sports.
Okay.
Ranked
Mountain
at,
climbing.
ranked at number 8 is soccer. Number 7 is triathlon. Number 6 is hockey. Number 5 is rugby. I'm sorry. Number 5 is American football. Number 4 is rugby. Number 3 is boxing. Number 2 is wrestling. And the number 1, mixed martial arts.
Well, that's physically because you're getting the shit beat out of you.
yeah, well, top 10 most physically challenging sports.
I'm thinking cardiovascular in shapeness.
Yeah, that's
Athletic stuff. That's what I said. But the baseball guys are pure athletes too. But can they run like these
not
guys?
cardio wise.
Yeah, they're standing there for the most part, unless you're running the bases or running after a ball.
Well, I mean, they are chasing balls and they are. I mean,
There's a lot of standing.
yeah, there is. There is.
So,
There is.
and then you sit for 15 minutes on
Right.
the bench.
Yeah. No, cardiovascular is not.
then there's
not,
dancing.
not challenging at all.
Yeah, I'm thinking exhaustion or cardio. Swimming's another one. So
Yeah,
that's not a team. Actually, water polo.
What's the
Look at that
15,000
water
meter?
polo.
Isn't there a 15,000 meter swim in the Olympics?
Yes.
And it's so painful because it's 800 laps.
Well, you record it, you fast forward it.
Yeah, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And then
back
if
and
someone
forth.
gets like 3 laps ahead, you're just like, oh, I'm not going to watch it now.
Right. Yeah, I don't get it. I was like, why do they have to do a 15,000 meter swim?
I played water polo in college. I would play that today. If I could find some league, I never was in such good shape when I played water polo.
Well, you tread the whole time. You can't touch the bottom, right?
Yeah, we played.
Do you think we're a little bit more buoyant now?
No.
Oh, so you don't have to tread at all. You're just gonna float.
Oh yeah, we just
No.
weeble.
I mean,
wobble.
you're out there. We were in. We were
Look at
in.
those water weeble wobbles.
It was a 20-foot deep end in the college pool, and the first few classes or whatever it was, you're out there treading water for an hour,
A lot.
and then he starts making these little games, and then by a couple of weeks, you're out there, you're swimming, treading water. There's no touch the sides.
I know.
There's nothing.
And you're in great shape.
Yeah, and I came home for Christmas that year. My dad's like, "Wow, you lost a lot of weight." I was thin. I was
Yeah,
skinny.
and you're like, I played water polo.
I was
Dad.
like, "Yeah, I was water poloing it."
Intramurals.
He's
I'm a
like-
champion.
He still calls that out today. He goes, "You never looked so good as when you were playing that water polo."
Oh, there you go. You do need to find a league.
And I
Either
tried.
that or pickleball.
Yeah, pickleball.
Pickleball.
Yeah.
That's apparently fun as hell. I played it when I was a kid. I loved it. You guys ever played pickleball?
No.
It's great.
I played something similar.
You should get something in your driveway
There we go.
because you need
pickleball court.
a slightly bigger court.
Let's do Foursquare.
Hopscotch.
Remember Foursquare? With the little those springy balls?
The springy ball.
No.
Yeah, the ones that made that noise. It's like they were
Boing,
hard and
boing,
yeah, boing,
boing.
Yeah,
Oh, those
yeah,
are the
yeah,
kick
yeah.
balls, like the
No
red
idea
kick
what
Yes,
balls.
yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and that's what you played Foursquare
Yes.
with.
I love the sound when it bounces off someone's head. It's just
Boing.
like, bing.
Yes.
Well, that's not very nice. You were the bully.
I
Yes.
was the one that got hit in the head.
Were you one of the bullies at school?
No, I was not.
Are you sure?
I am absolutely positive.
Were you bullied?
I was once or twice, but I was I fell into a trend of being able to defend myself pretty well.
So you
Yeah.
fought back.
Yeah, I tell you what. One of there's the ball right there.
There it is.
That's a
Look
dodge.
at that interesting pattern.
That's
See
a
if you can-
dodgeball.
If you could- I don't know if that
I don't
was
believe
it.
that's the sound.
That's not the noise I ever heard.
Yeah. That'd be
What the
cool.
hell?
If
That
you
was-
threw a dodgeball and it made that sound every
Maybe
time.
the
That was a
ball,
ball
the
going
ball
through
hitting
like a
wall, 1 hour
chandelier.
loop. Do that one.
Why would you need an hour of this?
No, let's keep it on.
No.
Turn it up and we'll do the podcast while that's going on in the background.
Wow.
Maybe it'll take us back to our childhood days.
So I remember, I believe I was like in first grade, maybe kindergarten, and I remember it was like the playground. We went outside, and I was going out there, and I saw some kids have these red circles on their face, and I was like, "What the fuck is that all about?"
What were those kids?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, I see these two bullies that they kind of remind me of the kids on the Christmas Story. You know, the skinny
Yep.
kid.
Oh, yeah.
the-
Right.
and they have their mom's blush, which is like a super large lipstick looking thing.
Right.
And
Ah.
you had one kid that would grab them from behind and put them like in a half Nelson, full Nelson. They'd hold their arms back, and the other kid would dot their cheeks.
Put the rouge on or the
So
blush.
mean.
Or whatever
Well,
it's called.
they got a hold of me, and they did not put it on me. I mean, I didn't beat them up. I didn't do
Did you
anything.
kick some nuts?
I didn't do anything physical to them. I didn't hurt them or anything.
Did you kick some nuts?
They weren't able to physically hold me, and they tried to. I got close to them. I ended up smacking the thing out of their hand, and
Oh, look at you.
Oh man, I didn't fight back at all.
You were the
I just-
anti-bullinator.
I just prevented them from doing it, and that was really it. And I'll tell you what, that was the day I hit my sister in the face with my lunchbox.
Why'd you do that? You were
I was distraught.
you were in a fury.
Well, you know, we're about to board the bus, and we're heading back, and she says something snarky to me. So I turn around and smack her with my lunchbox.
Can't do that. Those are metal.
Was
back
it a
then.
metal one like
Oh,
yeah.
Scooby Doo?
Oh, these were made out of like steel, the same thing
Absolutely.
they made Chevrolets
You
out
had the
of. You know?
Star Wars one, right?
It was sharp edges.
Jabberjaw?
No, yeah, but dual. Actually, it was Scooby Doo to be specific.
I had the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. I still have it.
I think I
It's
had
in
the
Colorado.
Does it have the thermos little container inside
No,
with
I
the
don't
cup?
think I had the
I think I had the monkeys.
Oh, the
The
monkeys were good.
monkeys?
Yes.
So when you open up the lunchbox, there's like a little
Thermos.
there's a thermos, but there's also like a little spring arm that comes down
Yes.
and holds the thermos in place,
Oh, nice.
so it doesn't squish your
You
lunch
must have been one of those rich
sandwich.
kids.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, I never spring in my lunchbox.
No, well, it's just a little clamp that holds down the
Whatever.
thermos.
I didn't have that. You might have been like, understating it. Oh, it's no big deal. It's just a spring.
Most of the
I
time,
love that noise.
I had like a
The
brown
monkeys.
sack,
Look at that.
but you can't say brown sack
I don't
lunch
think
anymore
mine-
because that's racist.
You're correct.
Brown bag.
I don't think mine had a yellow
dumb.
I guess
band
brown
around
sack
No,
it.
not
is
you.
racist. Brown
I
bag
think-
is.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's so dumb. It's so dumb that I
He's
can't.
$6 million man.
Now, see if you
Nice.
can open up one of these lunch boxes. Do they show the inside? Or type it
Is
inside.
that which one you have? You had the monkeys right there on the left.
It was very similar. It wasn't yellow like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So the bouncing ball, it's all right, but I wish it had a little bit of variety.
More spring.
Well, because
Is it really an hour of the bouncing ball?
Yes. Dukes of Hazzard. You could stop it at any time. It's been going on for
Well,
3 minutes.
yeah, why don't you like forward it like to the middle or something?
I
See
think
if
it's going to be same the whole time.
Oh, hold on. There's a little area where there's changed.
Most replayed.
That's
Why
it.
wouldn't they bounce it faster or slower or something?
Yeah, have some variety.
It's probably a loop. They probably did it once.
And you know what's funny? It says dodgeball sound effect, 1 hour version with an exclamation point. Exclamation.
Okay, what's even worse
exclamation
is
point.
also
Why-
scroll down just a hair. We're 125,000 views.
and we're one of the idiots. And look at the 2.3 thousand likes.
Well, they don't show the dislikes anymore.
Oh, they don't. Well, they still have the icon up there, so you can click it, but they won't show you how much. Okay, so I've listened to nearly a whole hour now.
At first, I was beginning to have more questions about why and how this sound came to be, and more questions about following why I'm here listening and partaking in this experience. But then something clicked, and I realized that dodgeball sound effect wasn't the question; it was the answer. I can see them much clearer now. My eyes and ears have been opened by the grace and mercy of the red rubber ball.
And then the next one down, minute 27 and 42 seconds is my favorite part.
You gotta love some humor that the world has out there, man. All right, we could probably pass on the rest of the bouncing ball thing, although that was funny.
Well, I remember, did you guys, because we had gym class in high school. Freshman and sophomore year, I had to partake in phys ed gym class.
Oh, we all had to.
Yeah. Well, I
Oh, the
enjoyed
nightmare!
it.
You had
It
to
was
wear
a
the
lot
little
of fun.
shorts.
Oh, yeah. The
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
uniform.
whoa. Did you say it was a nightmare because you had to wear shorts?
Well, I mean, you had to wear these little outfits, and you
Your
had to.
nuts were hanging
What
out.
kind of little outfit are you talking about?
Well, the one with.
Oh,
the,
that's because you were 3 years older than the rest of the group, and they didn't have shorts to fit
Well,
you.
that too, but we had the tuck. We had the tuck pants.
Oh, yeah. Those didn't exist back then.
Oh, they didn't.
No. But I remember one of the.
Well, your balls are all squished to the side, either left or the right,
Yes.
and it's like, you got a fanny pack in your pocket? What's going on over there?
Oh God.
But I remember one of the sports that we would do would be dodgeball.
Oh yeah, so fun.
It was always interesting because I could throw hard.
You would hurt people. You
Well-
make the girls cry.
Well, the baseball players, that was boys against boys.
You
was not
were
good.
just saying Jeff's throwing at girls?
Of course he is.
Well, you can these days.
Stupid
because we're all
bitch,
the
you're
same.
getting it. Turn me down for that junior high dance.
But I remember the baseball players, especially the pitchers, would be like, I'm gonna nail everyone. And they would they'd try to throw it at me and they'd miss and I'd pick it up and I'd throw it just as hard back of them. And they were like, and
Oh,
they,
you earned some cred.
yeah, so that was I was a freshman and the sophomores were the big guys.
Jeff's
So
inner
they,
monologue
so
was
they
like,
picked you to
"Bitch."
be on their team. That's like the ultimate. They're like, yeah, we want Jeff.
Right. No, it was just fun
We
because
suck. We don't like him, but he throws really hard.
Yeah.
and it hurts.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
he's
could-
amazing at dodgeball.
yeah, I could throw as hard as I can't do it now because I threw my shoulder out, but back then I could throw pretty hard.
Yeah, I was a kid that never got picked.
I don't even remember. I remember playing it, but it was pretty uneventful. I'll tell you what I enjoyed was the and I think I know we've mentioned this before, was the American Fitness the presidential fitness.
Yeah, wasn't that Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, it was not.
It was prior to that.
Yeah, it was.
It was prior to
I thought he was Ronald Reagan's fitness.
No.
This was before
Dang.
Ronald Reagan.
This was before. This was Ronald Reagan when I was. I guess it could have been before that, but I remember the Ronald Reagan one.
This was in the 70s because I lived in Germany.
Yeah, I was in grade school.
Yeah. So
Okay,
know
but
this.
but Arnold Schwarzenegger was the presidential
Maybe in the
fitness
I've
maybe
never
in
guy.
the
heard of him being
2000s,
one.
or the late
Okay.
90s.
maybe I don't know.
Well, maybe I got the year
So
wrong.
it's
but-
American presidential fitness test, and I remember they had the men's and the women's, or the girls and the boys, or whatever it is now. And we've mentioned this before, and I hate talking about this. In fact, I told us name and don't talk about. We talked about this before, but here I am talking about it. The women. Or the females, I should say. They don't do pull-ups. They just hold their head above the bar.
Right.
So there's like a credential. You got to hold above. The guys would do actual pull-ups.
Right.
And I don't give a fuck because yes, the women don't have the stature to do pull-ups.
Right.
Typically, some do. Some are really strong. I don't want to generalize, but that was the consensus back then. But from what I remember, which was the funnest, was like the shuffle run, where you got these little those little chalkboard erasers.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
remember that.
the shuffle run is basically where they have like a eraser set up on the ground. I think it was maybe 2 or 4, I forget exactly. And you would take an eraser, run it over to the other side of the gym, set it down, sprint back, grab the other one, and then sprint back over there and put the 2 over there. And it's called the shuffle run. I think it was
okay.
called the shuffle run.
Cool.
And you had a timer, and you have to get it within a certain amount of time. And then you climb the rope.
Yeah, I remember climbing the rope.
And
with the knots in it.
It was push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, climbing the rope.
Do they still have the presidential fitness thing?
I
I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
I don't know.
Because
Yeah.
the kid that couldn't do it was shamed, and so they canceled the whole thing.
Well, I remember in grade school.
See, there's a good picture of the third one over. The PE, I'm not really. In fact, they even have the little squares over there that look like.
Do you have to get in that stance?
Yeah, I was totally bending over, stretching my
Yeah.
glutes out. Like
I could
that.
see you looking awkward like that.
Yeah, I remember doing the. See right there. Go scroll up to the center. Up one more. Right there. See those cones? We had erasers. I guess they have like cones there. But anyways,
That
so
looks like fun.
then it was kind of fun, and you try to sit there and try to get your fastest, and there was the rope climb, and then there was the
And that was
sit-ups.
that was your way to impress the girls too.
I wasn't really into impressing girls and stuff. I didn't think
You
like
weren't
that.
into girls.
No, I didn't say that. I
Like at
said
all?
I was. Well, but during that time, most people aren't really sexualized. Nowadays, the kids are really exposed to a lot of sexual
Hold
stuff.
on, I'm not talking about sexualizing. I mean, but you, from a very early age, you wanted to impress the girls. I mean, it was a thing.
I don't know, man.
I mean, it had nothing to do with sexual anything. It was like, I'm big and strong, and look how fast I am. Don't you think I'm awesome?
I didn't have that.
That was a that was a
Chromosome.
natural little boy thing to do to impress the girls.
I think at some point, I don't
never
know
had
about
that.
grade school.
Yeah, it was for me.
Well, you
Maybe
were,
in high school.
you were a teenager in grade school, though, right? You said?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point, and that always seems to be awkward when we bring that up.
All puby and everything.
So pubic.
You had a full chest of hair. You
Yeah.
know?
And when we played dodgeball, everybody was like, "No, no." I was like, "Let's do this."
Yeah.
I'm going to nail you.
That's right. And after this, we're going to drive in my truck.
You want a
Right.
beer?
Let's go smoke a cigarette.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
phys ed. I was thankful that when I was done with it, I was done with it, though.
Sure.
I was done after my sophomore year. I was just like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore.
I kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed the running, and I'll tell you, farting during sit-ups.
Oh,
Fantastic.
I could totally see you loving that. That's just
Well,
so
it wasn't a
wrong.
matter
You
of
had-
loving
you
it.
had- but you
Actually,
had a
it totally
partner.
was.
Yeah, someone's
Yeah, you
face
had a
was down
partner,
there.
and you had to. You did
Oh,
that to them.
Blew them up.
Oh, it's just like the video you said, Sean, of the queef world record.
Okay, I
Oh.
didn't finish that.
That was the Howard Stern.
Well, there's
thing,
a
and-
guy down there
I didn't
holding a
finish it.
microphone in her crotch.
I turned
face
it,
was
I
down
turned
there.
it off immediately. I didn't even watch it.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and you watched it.
Well, I mean, the Howard Stern.
But of course you did.
It was all 30 seconds.
Well, back, yeah, it was like tough. It was really a beatdown. There was really nothing. All she was doing was queefing. She would like suck in air, and she had a really strong vaginal muscle that was able to take in and push out air
was a
rather
vacuum.
quickly.
They're called those Kegels.
I don't know what she was doing, but she was able to do it.
The muscles, the
There are other people. You could do that with your anus, or some people can do that with their anus because
What?
they have like fart. You're able to. Some people are able to take in reverse.
and make a song out
suck
of it,
in, they could suck in air through their butthole and then force it right back out.
like and like do like a song, like the national anthem.
I'm not really sure.
Hey, so
Maybe
they could
we-
fart on demand. Just
Yeah,
like-
essentially. And in long, fabulous ones.
I
You know?
definitely know you can light them on fire. I there was a dude.
You've done that?
No, there was a guy in my dorm. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, you can do that. I was like, no, you can't.
Well, I've done it once.
and so
You got to
he-
get it pretty close to the
and
bottle, though.
it
don't
didn't
you?
work
did.
out very well.
He did, and it was a flame, and I was amazed. And then,
Yeah.
didn't you send the video with the guy? He lit his fart, and the cat was jumping by,
Oh, yeah.
and the cat was on fire. Did you see that? The cat lit on fire.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was doctored.
I
but
remember I had tidy whities on, and it
Did it
could have
blow
gotten
in a hole in
disastrous.
there?
Well, it didn't necessarily, because I was on my back, sitting in the sitting position,
Oh, great.
and my legs spread with the lighter.
what
and
you
I
needed
fart,
to do is make a visual for our
and
listeners. Thank you.
then after my legs are propped up, I'm sitting on my butt, I'm leaning back, I've got the lighter, and then I light it, and then when I fart, the gas it didn't expel, like shoot like a flame, like
It
a
was
flamethrower.
trapped.
No,
Well, what did Tara say when she saw you do this?
oh, this wasn't. This was.
She said,
This was like when I was like
she said,
14,
not
and
on our
13.
bed.
No, but my point is that the gas didn't go far at all.
Why are you on our kitchen
In
island
fact,
doing this?
when I lit it, it went all the way up my belly, because that's where the gas was all at. And I remember I was like, "Oh my god, can you imagine if it was a long
Well, that's
fart?"
how people spontaneously combust.
By
They're
farts.
idiots that
That
light their
probably-
farts.
Yes.
Just scratch the surface, and all of a sudden, little implosion.
My
I
dad.
wonder you have to eat particular foods.
Well, my
actually to
dad
make it
said
better.
that he
Jeff
told me
has-
about it. He called them lightums.
Your
your
dad.
My
used to do
dad,
it?
he never did. He goes, but when he was in the Navy,
Oh, God.
he's like, there were guys who were doing it.
Interesting.
He goes, so he told me about this when I was a kid. He's like, yeah, you could do this because I was in the Navy. And
I was skeptical until I
Sailors were
watched it
doing
with
it.
my own eyes.
Well, it's a good, healthy source of alternative fuel.
And he did it. He did it multiple times. And one time, yes, it caught his underwear on fire, and he had to pat it out.
no,
I was
there's
like,
too
oh my
much
God.
sensitive stuff down there.
Yeah, forget that.
All right, Bullet Bourbon, 10
years.
years.
Yes, I finished
Enjoyed
mine.
the hell of it. I'm
I
about to
finished
finish
mine.
mine
I
up.
did not finish mine. What is
I want to
wrong with
say
me?
thank you, Mr. Producer Austin. Dudes Like Us, I'm Sean.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Paul.
All
We'll
right.
see you guys in a little bit. We're going to have a snack.